everyone! Before we get started with today's experiment, here's an important note.
It's important that you have a grown-up nearby just in case you might need help or working with some of the materials in our kit.
So pause this video, take a moment, and go find an adult so you can get started with our experiments and read-alouds.
Hello Mason Moose, my name is Mrs. Smith, and today's activity we will be working with wind. Just like William in our read aloud, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. If you haven't had a chance to check out this week's read aloud, please make sure that you scan the QR code that's included in today's kit or click on the link in the email. Wind is an important natural tool that humans have used for many years. We use the wind to predict weather patterns, create renewable energy, or just fly a kite. To get the speed of anything, wind in this case, we measure how long it takes for it to move a certain distance. To do that, today we are going to make an anemometer. What's an anemometer? An anemometer is a tool used to measure wind speed. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our supplies in this week's kit to see how we can make one of our own. In this activities kit, you'll find a sharpened pencil as well as a thumbtack. Of course, these materials are very sharp, so we want to be sure that we're extra careful when using them. Also, you'll find 2 clear straws as well as 5 mini cups. Certain supplies that aren't included in our kit are Scotch tape as well as a hole puncher. And of course, we couldn't include the wind. You'll need that too. Please take a minute to go ahead and gather all your supplies so we can go ahead and build our anemometer. All right, hopefully you've had time to gather all of your supplies to make our anemometer. So first thing we're gonna do is, of course, just grab one of our cups. We need to make 4 holes at the top of our cup. So for this, I'm gonna use our sharpened pencil that's included in our kit. We wanna make sure that our 4 holes that we draw inside of our cup, make sure that they are equal distance from each other so they match up. So inside, if you find it useful, you might wanna draw some dots before or on the outside of the cup, draw some dots where you're gonna poke your holes. Again, this is a very sharp pencil, so it might be a little unsafe. So if you need to grab a grown-up for some assistance, please go ahead and do that. Lay my cup down and press with a little bit of pressure to go ahead and make a hole. It's okay if your cup bends a little bit because they go right back into their normal position. We just want to make sure that you have a clear open hole in each of the spots. Once you have your holes, it should look something like this, where I have 4 holes across the top of my cup. At this point, once I have my holes, now I'm going to go ahead and grab my one of my straws, and I'm going to thread it through to one of my holes. And I should be going directly to the hole that is not adjacent but across from the other hole. So it looks something like this. Next, I'm going to take my second straw and I'm going to thread it through the next set of straws. Once I've threaded it through, you'll notice that I have some intersecting lines here. And so I have a middle point right in the middle of my cup. Now we're going to need to go ahead and poke holes in our 4 other cups. This part is a little difficult, but I'm sure you guys can do it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our cup and we're going to pinch the sides, because then we're going to need to make a hole that goes through this side as well as this side. Mrs. Smith has gone ahead and pinched our cup to make our holes. So once I pinch it, I went right through both sides with our very sharp pencil. So then I basically am able to do this with my pencil. And then I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to go ahead and repeat this step with my 3 other cups. So then each cup will have 2 holes in that same exact spot. Great. All of our cups should now have identical holes inside of them. We're going to flip our base towards this direction, and now we're going to basically thread our cups through our anemometer. As you do this, you really want to make sure that all of your cups are facing in the same direction. I kind of wonder what will happen if we don't do that. But for right now, we're going to just make sure and do the experiment the way where we have the cups facing in the correct direction. You might have to retwist some of your cups to make sure that they stay balanced. Once they're all on, great. So once all your cups are on, you should have something that looks something like this. If you notice as you're looking at this, does this look like anything familiar? Maybe a windmill? So we're gonna put our cups to the side for a minute, because then we're gonna also need to grab our pencil again. Our pencil now is going to puncture a hole at the very bottom of our middle cup. Again, using very sharp pencil, so if you need adult assistance, please make sure you go ahead and grab a grown-up. We want to make sure that our hole is in the as centered as possible. We're going to poke our hole. So we have our hole here. And now, instead of going through this way with my sharpened area, I'm going to take my eraser and kind of wiggle it towards the center of my straws that I made. So I should have, again, something that looks like this. All right. So I'm holding it up, and you might have to kind of use some balancing skills here. And it's okay if you have to move your pencil around a little bit, because you want to make sure that you're right at that cross angle of your straws in the middle. Okay, so now I have it angled. I'm pressing my pencil down and using my table as a place to balance, which is okay. I'm going to take my push pin. Again, another sharp object. Please make sure you're being careful with this. We are going to press it into the center of our cup to attach our straws to our eraser. You want to push firmly, but you don't want to press too tightly. You just want to connect it just a little bit, just to get the tip of the push pin inside the eraser. So you might see a little bit of the metal part still outside of the push pin. That's okay. All right, so in the end, we should have something that looks like this. please go ahead and pause the video to take a minute so you can assemble your anemometer to make it look just like this, and then we're going to try and see if it works. All right, scientists, we should have our anemometer made. We want to make sure and test and see how it works and see if we can measure some wind speed. So it's not very windy outside. If it is windy outside, this will be a great time to go outside and test your anemometer. If not, if you have a fan available, you can go ahead and use that as well. So for this experiment to see if it works, I'm going to go ahead and use the fan in my room. As you are testing your anemometer, you want to just go ahead and lightly hold your end of your pencil. It's kind of like you're holding like a pinwheel, and we're going to see how it blows in our fan. And there we go. If you've assembled your anemometer correctly, it should be spinning alone just by facing it into the wind. And as you can see, the closer I get to our fan, the faster it blows, and then the further away I go, it stops blowing. So go ahead and take a minute and test out your anemometer and see how it does. I hope you enjoyed building your anemometer. If you'd like to extend this activity, go ahead and take a look at the paper that was included in your science kit to see how you could calculate the wind speed. Had a great time working with you guys. See you next time.